Good evening, internets. It's me, DP Knudten, and hold on, I'm having a little bit of technical issuage, but I'm here, and I'm back for another live stream of my 301-day journey from I should really do this to done. Now, I call this thing Bookward Bound because that's exactly what I am. I am doing this every single night for 301 consecutive live stream nights, so that I can work on a book that I want to have done and up ready for publishing via Kindle's direct publishing platform or Amazon's Kindle direct publishing platform by January 1st of 2021. In order to do that, I got to work on this book, which I have been doing for a whopping, let's see, this is the 16th, so last night was 192. This is 193 days. Let me write that down. 193 days with 109 to go before the end of the year. That's the number of days. 109 days is the number of days until December 31st, 2020. And the very next day is when I'm uploading the press-ready PDF files to Amazon's Kindle direct publishing platform in order to self-publish a brand new book that looks a little something like this. It's called NONFICTION BRAND. Discover, craft, and communicate the completely true, completely you brand you already are. And that's exactly what I'm doing every night, working on this book in one way or another. So you might ask, what am I going to be doing tonight? Well, I think I'm going to be doing some writing in a section in the application I'm using to actually write this book, and that is called... Why is my picture-in-picture not working? That's one. That my one shot, my two shot. Well, let me go to three. There we are. I'm having all sorts of problems tonight, and it's all human error based. It's not Ecamm Live's fault, and it's not Restream.io's fault. It's DP Knudten's fault, and I accept that. The other thing I'm going to do is just turn on my iPad so I can make sure that things are in fact going out over the internets. And let me refresh that. Okay, cool. So this is Scrivener, the application I'm using to write this book, or I'm writing this book in. As you can see, this is a section in the book, and right now it's about a whopping 754 words. I'm going to be adding to that tonight, and I'm going to do it in this main window. Over here, you've got a whole bunch of sections and chapters, whatever you want to call them, however you want to refer to your book's organization. This is my book's organization, and I've got color coding indicating whether it's green, which means good to go, blue, which means needs a little bit more work, yellow, which means significant work, means it needs significant work, and red means, dude, you haven't done anything in this section yet. Well, I'm going to work on a yellow section right now, and here we are. So where we left our hero last night was on this sentence. This same dynamic is true for every field of human endeavor. And I am not kidding. Is it earlier or later in the book? I think Justin Baker might be earlier on. Yeah. Earlier in the book, you read about Justin Baker, social media strategist who works with everything from a duo of cellists, classical cellists, to pretty big name Hollywood stars, but that's not all. He also personally provides social media services to the woman who is generally considered to be the queen of her domain. Generally be the unquestioned queen of her professional domain. She's quite the big deal. She's quite the big deal. If you're a court reporter, yeah, yes, you read that right. Amongst court stenographers, her word is law. I love this example because it never, before meeting Justin, I had never thought, even for a second, that there was an entire subculture dedicated to the profession of court reporting. And I certainly didn't know that subculture, I think, is all one word, came complete with revered senior members like Justin's client. But of course there is, but of course there is. Every single activity, avocation, profession, and what do we call them? This is where you get out the old dictionary. And the beautiful thing is the dictionary is now in your own hands. So let's say vocation, occupation. Thank you. Every single activity, vocation, profession, and blue to white collar occupation has its own ecosystem of its own mini universe of systems and stars that Justin's client has demonstrated her mastery of the arcane skill of court reporting over her decades long career, That's nonfiction branding in action. She shared her knowledge, experience, and expertise freely over the years. And now she's the undisputed sovereign of stenography. Not too bad. Even the smallest of ponds can contain pretty big fish. Even the smallest of ponds can contain pretty big fish. And she's earned even the small. So, about your pond. Who are the big fish in it? And why aren't you one of them? And why aren't you one of them? Give, the more you'll get. Should I look up? I'm gonna look it up. Giving quote. The more you give. Inspirational quotes. The more you'll get. Every mother ever born has undoubtedly said the above at some time in her children's lives. Probably more than once, many times more than once. And she is exactly right. And she is exactly right. The more you give of yourself, your experience, and of yourself, your experience, and your heart, and your help. Let's say that. The more you give of yourself, the more to receive. Maybe not immediately. Maybe not immediately. There are a lot of one-way road takers out there. But by giving freely your most valuable assets, those gifts will return to you a lot of unexpected ways. Example. Try this example. True. Example. I'm actively trying to grow speaking and presenting side of my business. Exactly, comma, and as I first began to seriously build this new product service line myself, I sought out the advice of many different people, all of whom had created the kind of speaking business I wanted for myself. One of the very first people I talked to was a LinkedIn strategist and best-selling book author, and recognized LinkedIn strategist Wayne Breitbarth. Was a best-selling author, and recognized LinkedIn strategist. Wayne Breitbarth. He gave so freely of his time. I'll save that for later. As we having seen him speak and participated in one of his workshops, I knew that he had the goods. I knew he had the goods on LinkedIn. I knew how to present them. One of the I asked him the very simple and important very question. How did you get your speaking career started. His answer. By speaking. Everywhere and anywhere that would have him for free. Be honest, that for free part was not, the for free part was not something I really wanted to hear, but I kept on with my questions. How many free presentations did you do before getting any paid ones? I asked. Around 100. He said. He wasn't kidding. After that, but there was a reason for it. He admitted his first presentations were not really worth paying for. The content was solid, but his presentation skills needed work. And so he worked on them everywhere he could, and eventually he was worth paying. He was worth paying to speak, speak at an event, and his business took off. Hey, by the way, when I type, I don't normally say this aloud, but I'm saying it aloud for you. It's not like I move my lips when I read. Mostly I'm just understand that to be true, okay? Cool. Because, yeah, I have my faults, but moving my lips while I read is not one of them. And his business took off. But I look at those 100 free presentations, not as opportunities to practice, although they were. They were certainly that. Sorry. You know, I love dark mode, and so I hate, like here, okay. So over here, I hate having that white staring me at the face. Thank God Facebook is now doing dark mode, because every app that I can use dark mode on, I use dark mode on, you know, because it's a lot easier on the eyes. Although they were certainly that. I see them as opportunities to share all your best stuff. Each time making deposits into an account in the general karma bank of goodwill. Then someday, only after up a sizable goodwill nest egg someday, only after building. There we go. Sizable good. Someday, only after building a sizable goodwill nest egg, your business will take off because you've developed an entire audience of people who know who you are, what you do, and how you do it. You will have earned that audience the authentic way by demonstrating your value by sharing your most valuable period. Get that back up front. All right. Someday. Wayne Breitbarth shared with me so freely and authentically. That as I was looking for the very best example I could think of for creating, demonstrating, or differentiating oneself. Oneself. It's not one's self. He asks with quizzically. Oneself. Alone. Demonstrate all alone. There's no possibility. Oneself. Oneself for and demonstrating. One's value. I immediately thought of him for inclusion in this book. That's how creating a completely true, completely you non-fiction brand works. That's how great. Once you have good things can happen. Good things can happen because good things can happen. That's once you have good things can happen because that's the way you roll. I don't know if I like that. I don't know. This is 1,400 words. So that's going to be another 4 pages, 3 to 4 pages, 300 words a page-ish. Let's do a little math here. One of the things that I love about Scrivener is it will do a running tally. So if I highlight all my sections, it'll crunch the numbers right there and give me a word count. So I've got 52,293 words. If I click on that, you can see even more information about that. Average paragraph length, average sentence length, number of paragraphs, all that stuff. So 52,293, let's see. Getting out my little cell phone calculator, 52,293 divided by 300 equals 174 pages. But this, when it recompiles, it's probably at about 230 pages now. So feeling good about that. And I ain't done yet. But let's see. I'm going to give this a blue. Change it to blue because I think it's kind of done. Once you have, that's the way you started rolling. Start. Good things can happen because that's the way you started rolling at the start. That's the way you started. Giving. That's the way you started. Giving freely. Giving freely of the very best you have to offer. I don't know. I'm not necessarily totally digging that, but I think that's good for tonight. It's 8:30. I've been down here for 41 minutes. I don't want to burn myself out because I'm a delicate flower. Yeah, I'm a real delicate flower. No, but I don't want to burn myself out because this is tough. I mean, this is day what? What did I say? 193 with 109 left to go. The only way I'm going to get this, keep this going every night is not by coming down here and burning myself out. So I have to know when to say when. Well, I'm saying when right now. I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand podcast, which comes out every Monday. And you can check out episodes simply by typing in Nonfiction Brand wherever you get your fine podcasts for free and search Nonfiction Brand. You're going to see my picture in black and white looking like this. And you'll know you got the right podcast. So I hope you'll check that out. And if you like it, can you do me a solid and give it a thumbs up like thumbs up like and subscribe to it. Refer it to other people. But most of all, can you do me a real solid and review it wherever you got the podcast? Because that really helps other people find it. I could really use your help in that regard, and I want to thank you in advance for helping me. The same way that you're helping me right now by forcing me to come down here and work on this damn book every single night. If it weren't for you, I probably wouldn't be here right now working on it. So, thank you. I'm going to see you for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow night. And until then, theme music, take us on out.